Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in a prior video on my Outer Limitless 2 channel, we took a look at this Nexbelt Titan EDC belt. This is in essence a firearms belt, but the best thing about it is the ratcheting capability. Now there's a couple of companies out there, but I've been working with the people at Nexbelt on a special project. So this in my hands, this is the Nexbelt Guardian EDC belt. Again here, as you take a look at it, kind of, I'm not going to say plain, but no true markings on the front. Yet in this video, you're going to look at a belt that was made specifically for me and my Outer Limitless brand. And so if you like what you see in this video, do me a favor, reach out either through comments or an email. Let me know that you're interested in one of these belts, and I can let you know how to get your hands on one of them. But today's video, more of a setup, so we're going to get this out of the box, we're going to get it configured. There's a number of things that you need to know. These belts are not difficult to get on your body, it just takes a little bit to get them set up for your own size and your own sort of preferences. And so when we get back, we're going to take a look at this Guardian, get it ready for carry. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Nexbelt who did make these beautiful belts. And for the rest of you, if you see anything that you like here, do me a favor, take a look in the comments below for more details or reach out to me at outerlimitless@gmail.com. And so now, as we get a closer look at the Nexbelt Guardian, keep in mind the fact that there are a number of different belts from Nexbelt. The Guardian, for me, is just the perfect everyday look. You can get belts with leather, you can get golf belts. This particular model here, the Guardian, is your everyday carry, and I would say firearms or gun belt. With the ratcheting system, absolutely fantastic, and you'll see I got the Outer Limitless logo on this with the black camo, which is my jam. Now at this point, we're going to get everything prepared to fit this to my size. Again, these belts don't come out of the box ready to go. It's going to take you just a little bit to get them ready. Now, the presentation is fantastic. Nexbelt doing an absolutely wonderful job with their presentation. And I always say on my channel, packaging is not necessarily the most important thing, but when people are paying attention to the details in the packaging, you know they're paying attention to the details in the product itself. So as I get everything ready here, you can see the beautiful black camo. Absolutely awesome. I just love this pattern. I feel like it's aggressive enough and kind of tactical looking, yet at the same time subdued and doesn't really catch too much attention. So the black multicam and black camo patterns have always been my jam. The buckles, extremely nice. They do a wonderful job with the powder coating, and in this case, the laser etching, absolutely wonderful. These have a very easy mechanism to allow you to adjust the size by 1/4 inch ratchets, and you can see that this does have a little bit of a keeper on the inside to hold it to the webbing, not to mention the fact that you can actually use some screws to hold everything in place. As we take a look at the belt construction itself, beautifully done. This is not necessarily quote-unquote proprietary. However, Nexbelt really has done a nice job with their ratchet system to try to improve over other people's designs. And I have to say, all the ratcheting belts that I've used for the most part have been pretty good, and Nexbelt has been absolutely flawless. One of the nice features of the Nexbelts is that you can go anywhere from a 25-inch up to a 50-inch waist. So that does work very well, where one size really does fit all. Fantastic. Now, as you get prepared here, Nexbelt suggests adding 3 to 4 inches to your pant size. Now, I'm typically a 32-inch waist. You'll see I'm about to cut my belt at 36 inches. Now, this is pretty much just for this demonstration. I did find that 4 inches is a little bit long for my liking. I do prefer to cut more like 3 inches off for my given needs, but just for the test here and showing off how this will work. Now on the inside, you can see a real nice material. This is a plastic that's pretty much wrapped in a nylon, and it gives it the overall rigidity that you need with a nice soft feel on the outside. Everything's stitched nicely and just a perfect construction from Nexbelt. The overall look and fit and finish is wonderful. No threads out of place. And you'll see after a while, I did use this belt at length. As we get everything fit up here, I do make sure that I get everything nice and square, good square fit, firmly pressed all the way to the inside. And this little lever here does have some teeth, which when you press down, it's a little bit stiff. Not a big deal. Just get a couple of fingers on it and push down nice and tight, and you'll see the teeth binding into the strap, which gives it a good secure grip. Now at this point, I'm basically going to dry test this, making sure that it fits my waist the way I need. These Nexbelts come out of the box right away a little bit stiff. So they have a little bit of a memory from being in the package, but they will absolutely break in over time. Now you can see as I get this into place, I do want to have enough material for me where I can CCW with this particular belt, but at the same time, I don't like a lot of extra material. I'm always scrambling through brush and going through different areas and using, really, I'd say, my belts as a tool. And the last thing I want is a huge amount of extra material flapping around. So you can see here, I did end up with a little extra material, about an inch more than I needed. So I came back, basically at this point, just trimming everything up, taking an inch off of this. Not a big deal. Making sure my cuts are good and square. And at this point, you can see with some real stiff scissors, doing a nice job. That's the main thing. Use some real good heavy-duty scissors, and it'll cut through it with ease. Now, I always like to burnish my ends. Nexbelt does not necessarily suggest you need to do this, but for me, that's just a real easy added step that adds some detail and makes sure that nothing will fray over time. So again, just a real simple step. Again, setting the belt webbing all the way inside the buckle, and at this point, I'm pretty much good. This is going to do exactly what I need. I just dry fit this one last time to make sure I was happy, and at this point, I can use all the set screws. So this kit does come with the set screws that you need, and it also comes with a hex key. So at this point, you can see getting the hex heads set into place. Now you do want to press down and firmly press down as you screw these into place to make sure you don't accidentally strip anything. So you'll see as I get these fit, pressing down and really driving these down and into the webbing. That's the most effective way to do this, and it really does work very well. It is a little bit stiff. You kind of need to take your time and be careful not to strip anything, but as long as you're pressing down and firm and not going too far, these will go absolutely perfectly, no problem. And you can see at this point, everything sitting down nice and flush. So the installation and preparing this belt for use, no problem. And at this point, you can see the beautiful logo, nicely etched, fitting wonderfully, and literally at this point, perfect for my everyday carry needs. Fit the size that I need without too much extra material and buying me the space that I need for CCW. So depending on your needs, you can go a couple of ways, but again, wonderfully done here from Nexbelt. And so, all right, guys, there you have it, a look at the Nexbelt Guardian, which at this point, all the footage that you've seen is exactly a year old. I have held on to this footage for literally a year to give this belt a full year's testing. I wore this belt literally every single day for a year with just a few exceptions. Now, at this point, we're going to go through this in detail so I can show you how this is held up. Obviously, you saw the setup footage. Very straightforward, very simple, and at this point, I can tell you I'm extremely happy with this belt. And if I'm going to put my logo on this and make it available to everybody else, it has to pass my test first, which it absolutely has. And so now as you take a look at this, you can see the buckle itself literally perfect. Everything about it. The coating has held up magnificently. Now, keep in mind the fact that when I say I've worn this every day, it's been in so many different scenarios. The everyday office use, backpacking, hiking, camping, just all around the mountains. I've used it in the winter. It's been soaking wet after just use of, shoveling and snow blowing and all those battles. I've used this as literally my everyday carry belt, so for CCW purposes. And what really captures my attention, the fact that it's broken in nicely. Now, are there areas of wear? Sure. Is there, things that you can sort of notice about it? Yeah, definitely. But I would go as far as to say this has absolute hard use patina on it. I've loved this belt and it's been pretty much flawless. There's only been a couple of things worth noting. Now, I've already talked about the buckle. All the powder coating on this, literally perfect. So as I open it up here, the full mechanism, everything about this, just perfect. So the buckle has literally been flawless. The etching, still perfect. Couple of little rub marks, but nothing really to consider. In terms of the webbing, the only areas that you can see that have any sort of wear are the high wear points. So on the edges here, in a few strategic locations where they kind of rub against my clothes, rub against, different items. I've clipped things on, knives and sheaths and, my firearms, holsters and whatnot. So generally speaking, it's held up very well. On the end here, just a tiny bit of fray. Now, I've held off on this for a long time just to demonstrate this simple ability to grab a lighter and simply burnish the ends. Just like 2 seconds here, and that is back to nearly perfect. So no problem there. Literally from time to time, just burnish those edges a little bit, and there is nothing to worry about. On the inside, there were a couple of threads that came loose along the zipper track. Simply cut those out of the way. No problem. And again, just burnishing the edges. The zipper track, again, has been flawless. For the amount of times this is bent over, flexed, and just used it in all different temperatures, no problem. On the inside, you can see most of the stamp you can still read. However, when it does get, again, to some of the high wear points, it's starting to fade out. But again, not a big deal. And in terms of the fit and comfort, it has only improved with age. Broken in quite a bit, feels really good, and is something that I've come to greatly enjoy, appreciate, and trust. So to the people at Nexbelt, very nicely done. And so again, guys, thank you very much. That is the Nexbelt Guardian EDC firearms belt. Absolutely fantastic. Again, I love this, and these are available. So if you'd like to support my channel and pick one of these up, I have a number of them available. Look in the description box below. It's a fantastic way to help support not just Nexbelt, but Outer Limitless itself. So if you're a fan of the channel and you'd like to support me, do me a favor and check out the details below, or email me at outerlimitless@gmail.com. And so again, thank you very much to the people at Nexbelt, and for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there, so if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.